What's up, everyone? Welcome to Narwhals, episode 33. My name's Drew Wilson.
Kieran Flanagan.
And this is...
Damien Mackey. Ugh.
Yeah. No worries. I didn't want to cut you off because you look like you're about to say your name. So this is Damien, everyone.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Yes, welcome
Thank you.
to the show.
Thanks for having
Welcome to the show. You just got back from the dentist.
Yes, I did.
How was that?
It was great. I everyone like scoffs
Such
at
enthusiasm.
it. I love the dentist. Like
You genuinely
You
do?
love that
I
high
do.
pitch.
It was great. I mean, I walked in and like have you guys ever heard of hand scaling? So not to get too much into dentistry again, but have you guys heard of it's like a technique that they do where they literally scrape your teeth with like a metal hook.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I had never had that before.
What?
I lived in New York, right? So they always like blast it with water and like nobody had ever like really gotten in there. So I had it done in New York and like they're like, okay, so we're gonna do the hand. And I was like, what is this? And I walked out of that office and I felt like a new man. I was like, this is...
You liked it?
I loved it. And like, I told them that and they're like, no one has ever said this before in the entire like history of
You're
whatever
smiling
it is.
too much.
What?
Yeah, like this is weird, man. Like
That's crazy.
Yeah.
New York doesn't do scraping your teeth. Like when I lived in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest, like that was normal down here. It's like normal. Like
no.
people
No.
in New York
I've
No, it was
always
like-
had
it was
teeth clean.
Because I grew up in Arizona, so like maybe it was an Arizona thing. Like maybe they don't.
Oh, no.
there
So
for
they
whatever.
do it in New York.
They do it, yeah.
Didn't do it
That's
in
where I
Arizona.
first got it done was in New York, and
Oh.
yeah. So now, like, I called this dentistry, and I was like, just want to make sure you guys do hand scaling, right? And they're like, yeah, of course.
You call-
I did.
call
I
ahead.
know, it's weird, but it was a great
They're like,
experience,
if you lived in Arizona, maybe not, but...
Sure.
You call ahead. You're like, you do teeth cleaning? do you recognize cavities?
Yes. So besides dentistry, what are you up to?
So for the last, I guess, 7-8 months, almost a year now, I've been running a design and development shop called Sandwich Shop with my partner Joe, who's out there, who you've met. And
Here?
Yeah,
Nice.
we're here. So he's based out of New York. He lives there most of the time, but his wife does Broadway. So she's doing a show out here in La Jolla, and he's out here for a few months. And
Perfect.
so I had to rent an office space together. Otherwise, it was like work at home for up until that point, which was great. But it's cool to be in an office together. So yeah, we do design development. I'm more the design side. He's heavy back end development side, and yeah, we've been rocking and rolling, which is great.
That's cool. So making like mobile apps and sites and stuff?
Yeah, so we launched our first mobile app about 2 months after we started. It was with our previous company. So we both worked together at a company called Lawline in New York. And they reached out to us after we started. And they're like, hey, you guys know the system better than anybody. Do you want to build an app? And we had never built an app before. And so we based everything on React Native and built it out. And it's rolling strong. So
How nice it is in when was that? Last year?
last year, yeah.
Yeah. How nice in 2016 to be asked that question. Be like, oh, we've never done it, but here's React Native. We'll just
Yeah.
like write JavaScript and make an
Yeah.
app. Like
It was incredible.
Back in the day,
in 2007,
more so easy.
2008, when that conversation came up, it was like, I'll figure out, Objective C, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'll deal
it's
with
a
the,
totally different landscape now,
yeah,
which
that-
is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the IDE back then was nowhere near what it is now.
Yeah.
And it's got its quirks. It definitely it's not perfect, but I mean, to be able to roll out from knowing nothing to have a full-fledged app that thousands of people are using, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Have you stuck with React Native since then?
Yeah. So we did mostly like PHP stuff at Lawline, and then we wanted to do more single page apps sort of thing. So we've been experimenting with React Native, a little bit of Vue. We're actually doing our second iOS app also in React Native just because we're familiar with it. And this guy also wants an Android app. So, that transfer over is great.
So nice.
And we built his web app in React. So it's a lot of, it's transferring really nicely. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
So Lawline, do they specialize in lawyer websites?
No, they don't. Which is
okay.
so I think that may have been a vertical at some point for them, but they started out as a literal hotline in New York for lawyers. So it was like a call-in show, like a radio thing. And the son inherited the business from his dad, and he kind of turned into essentially what is Netflix for lawyers. So every lawyer has to take their continuing education to keep up their bar license, and so they film everything in house. They edit it and then publish it and then sell it.
They film educational.
Yeah, so they have like professional lawyers come in, talk about their practice area for an hour or whatever, and then they have to go through every single state to get accreditation for it. So it's got to pass through all that stuff. But
Lawline, so you can go on there and get your lawyer education.
yeah, if you
kind of like
want,
Treehouse or
if you're,
something.
if you're, yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's always new stuff like that popping up. Like this was not really new, but I think I took my first master class right when I started my RV trip, I believe. I hopped on their first one, which was Dustin Hoffman Teaches You Acting.
Nice.
My gosh, that was a good class.
Yeah.
And then I did another acting class, and then I did a writing class and a screenwriter's class, and then I'm at some point when I have time, I'm going to do Gordon Ramsay's class on master class
On acting?
You're gonna turn into a big jerk.
on being a turd. No, on cooking. But yeah, if you haven't heard of it, masterclass.com.
Is it like it's a serious thing?
No, it's a very serious thing. So
No, not serious, like series, like you. Is it for real?
yes.
Is it a scam?
No, it's a serious thing. It's so fantastic what they do. And obviously whoever spearheaded this thing had connections in Hollywood, and that's how this whole thing got off the bat, because nobody could just like start this, be like, yo, Dustin Hoffman, you want to be our first class, man? Trust me, it's going to be great.
He was literally their first.
He was literally the first one. And so what they do, and you can kind of tell this because each video that's broken up, sometimes they're wearing different outfits, right? And you're like, okay, so these are different days. So you know what happens. Like none of these instructors want to like prepare a class.
Right.
So the team at Masterclass, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm like 99.9% positive this is how it happens. They come up with a curriculum. Like, okay, Dustin Hoffman, if he taught, acting, what should we have him talk about? Blah, blah, blah. They come up with like a whole outline of what they want to do, and they interview him for a few days, right? And they just ask him these questions, and he goes off and tangents and talks, and then they end up with hours and hours of footage, and then they edit that down to be like actual, like, what do you call it? A syllabus? Is that what it's called in college, where you have like an outline?
Curriculum or something. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
One of them.
Been to school in a long time. But they have like an outline that you can follow. And so you watch this video and then the next video and the next video, and it all kind of makes sense. And then in every class, there's a like hands-on section, which is another series of videos where that instructor is actually with a group of real people that they don't know.
Gotcha.
And they're teaching them, they're making them go through things, and you get to watch it all.
That's cool.
Yeah. So like with Dustin Hoffman, there's like two people acting, and there's two people in this scene, and there's like another scene with more people. And there's a bunch of scenes, and you're actually like on set with them, and he's like, giving them feedback. Oh, actually do a little like this, to like, like that kind of stuff. So it's super radical. But that's master's class. So I don't know why I went into a huge.
Did you want to do a career change into acting at some point, or I mean?
No, I am going.
All right, so you're still doing it.
Still pending.
Yes. So I still have to finish up the tech world and make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So I can shortcut into that world because I want to make movies. It's not like I just want to be an actor. I want to make movies, but you need money for that.
Yeah.
You're not getting any younger.
Mm-mm. But it's all right because all the good roles go to the older guys.
Oh yes.
Did you edit the Common Grounds Plasso video?
No.
Okay.
No, my buddy Garrett did that, but I shot it with him.
Cool. All right. So it was in the right direction. Yeah.
All the videos. He and I used to make movies together. We had a commercial called Fire Rift. Firerift.com, people. If you have, you saw it.
Yeah, I saw that one. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. Back in the day. All right. So you made a React Native app, and you said you were experimenting with Vue.
Mm-hmm.
I've never experimented with Vue. I don't know if you have, but I know a lot of people are, and I feel like there's a good number of people talking about it.
What is it?
So it's all right. We may have to bring Joe in here for this because it's not my super forte. But basically, we wanted to do more single page stuff, and with React and React Native, it's very good, obviously. Yeah. But the way Joe was explaining is that Vue is a lot easier to manage. So like the way you're bringing in templates and Vue files and that sort of thing with React, it's easier in Vue. So he popped it open, started working on a project, and like within I think half an hour, he's like, I'm in love. Like this is a great thing. And the thing is, like he's PHP background. So to have him say that about a JavaScript, platform, whatever it is pretty incredible. So
I'll have to check it out. VIEU
VUE.
Yeah, VUE.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it.
Yeah. So I think it's like a not really. You can't really call these things competitors, but it is a competitor to React. Kind of does the same thing, but in a different way, from what I understand.
Are you using Vue instead, or along with?
No, this was.
It's like a.
So we have another project which we're launching called Spotlit, and we're using Vue for that. So it was like an experiment, something that we were doing in-house and internally.
Sure.
And it was just, get a different language.
Yeah, try something else.
Yeah, try something new.
You got it.
So, yeah.
So what sort of stuff are you building? Like these apps, are they mostly like internal for businesses? Are they B2B? Are they social apps? Are they like what sort of things are they?
Right now it's across the board,
Yeah.
which, we're a newer company and getting started. It's not ultimately what we want to be doing client apps. We want to be able to make our own products, launch them, do that sort of thing, and feel out what's working and what's not working. So, I don't want to say it's not our passion, but it's been all over the place. So we've done a tax accounting app. We using like OCR to like parse through data and stuff. It was cool. Yeah, it was really. Again, talk to Joe about this because he had some hair pulling. It was a little rough, but it came out really, really well, and that's the one we're actually putting into another iOS app, which is great. And then the Lawline app, and I think we've had a couple of smaller projects. Those are the really big ones.
And you guys are working on your own thing right now, right?
Yeah. So we are working on a thing called Spotlit, and I guess the best way of explaining it is it's kind of like Squarespace, but specifically for performing artists and actors and that sort of thing, directors, producers, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe obviously comes from
His wife's on
his
Broadway.
wife. Yeah, exactly. And he actually studied in Syracuse. He did acting, so he graduated with that sort of thing. So it's kind of his background, his passion, and we kind of saw there was maybe an opportunity for this sort of thing. Like you look at any actor websites, and they're going to be kind of janky and kind of ugly. So
It's like novelists too.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I've seen a novelist website, it's like,
yeah.
1996.
Yeah.
Right on the head.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
there.
Exactly. So we thought like put some cool templates together, put some cool design together,
Sure.
make it easy for them to manage. And because a lot of them are on Squarespace, but it's confusing. It's almost overwhelming. Like I think for us, it's normal. Like this is a great platform. It looks great, but for a lot of people who aren't tech savvy, they're like, what am I clicking on? How is this updated?
I've always
Like,
thought that about
like,
Squarespace. Like their website, they're super artsy fartsy as a company, and they I think take it way too far in their UI. Like they try to get like super futuristic.
Yeah.
And have you ever used?
I've never even seen their UI.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah.
But like from a usability perspective, it
Yeah.
just seems like
We-
you gotta hunt, man.
People like us are very good at hunting
Yeah.
and ignoring, like knowing what doesn't apply to
Yeah.
us. But I feel like if you're talking about people who the tech side of things is just like that ancillary thing that they have to deal with, like they're not necessarily good at defining what they need to and ignoring what they're not supposed to, or what they don't need to worry about. It's all the superfluous stuff.
Yep. And Squarespace was one of the ones that was out really early on,
Yeah.
really early on, just like Shopify. And those two were two of the earliest like website builders, like in a SaaS model. And they were able to stick it through, I think, for that reason. I think if Squarespace, what it is exactly in its current form, were to launch as a new company right now, I don't think they would do very well. But that's how business works.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you build up
yeah.
a reputation over years and years,
Yeah.
and you got to stick at it.
And what's amazing, I think, with Squarespace is when I was in New York, like they have a whole network of like template builders and people. So you have all of these people trying to sell their templates to other people, and then they're recommending Squarespace because that's what they're building it for. So it's like this weird pyramid, not a pyramid scheme, but kind of like a pyramid scheme where everyone's
Built-in marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's brilliant, but I don't know if it's the best product coming out. I don't know if Spotlit is the best right now, but we want it to be something that kind of gets to that level. So
That's
we'll
cool. Is it going to be a SaaS model kind of
yeah,
thing?
exactly.
Sweet.
So subscription based, we're dealing with some of the other stuff like how to register domains and how to get all that hooked up and
DNS simple, man.
Yeah. Well,
They got a good API for that.
yeah. I think I can't remember what we're using for it. But I think Amazon actually offers like a domain purchasing service too. So we're using S3 for all the storage, and like we're trying to keep everything kind of compacted together. So we're rolling, like it works, but we're trying to figure out the best way of like translating that to UI for someone who's not super tech savvy to understand and manage. So
Totally.
yeah,
Totally. That's cool. Is it going to have like a mobile component too? Like
yeah,
oh, sweet.
totally. Yeah, not the management part of it out of the gate, but just because it was, I don't know, we're two people building all these templates and the whole CMS backend and like trying to get all this other stuff figured out. Like I think it's hard for us, and I think you guys would definitely understand this, to launch a product not perfect.
Yeah.
And that's been really hard for us to understand. Like there are all these things that we want to do and want to build out, but that has to kind of sit aside for a while. Otherwise it will never get launched.
And it sounds like this is the first business that you're launching, right?
Right, exactly.
So
Yeah.
even more so, you feel like this has got to be
Yeah.
all that it can be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to disappoint anybody. Like this is like we're capable of so much more, and I want to show that. But like, I don't know. It's tough.
It's tricky balancing. Yeah. What's this? There's a saying where it's like if you can get something 90% of the way there and launch it, or wait for the other 10 and never launch it, or there's some well put way of phrasing that. But yeah, I find it's super. There's a weird balance trying to balance like being detail driven and meticulous and trying not to say the word perfectionist, but
Yeah, absolutely.
to balance that stuff with actually launching and actually like building while live, the whole product hunt model, like just building it in production with people using it and telling you what they think. And this fear of like putting something out too early as being a negative. And I think it can be, but if you wait any longer, it's never going to come out, or you're going to miss the window, or you're going to burn through your resources or whatever it is. Yeah. It's super tricky to balance this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, as a maker, it's hard because you do want everything that you do to be perfect. Because you're like, man, I'm the bee's knees, right? So everything I do is going to be so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get over the fact that what you make is not who you are.
Right.
And so even though you've made it, it doesn't mean that it's going to be all that you can do, because you've got X amount of resources to put behind this specific thing, right? There's no way you can just put everything that you have into one thing.
Yeah.
Because what's in your brain is always going to be way more than what you can put out in the physical world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's that like balance there too. And like you were saying, like, if you don't launch, I mean, it's weird too, because like I did a project years and years ago for HP, and they're in the hardware mindset, right? And if you come out with a printer that has bugs or something wrong, like that's a huge, massive loss.
Or a
like
phone that catches
financially.
fire.
Yeah, it's a massive loss financially on the brand, everything. It's a massive loss. So it has to be like totally perfect before you ship it. And somehow that made its way into software early on. And that made its way into everybody's brains. And so people treat software that same way. We're like, yo, it's got to be so deliciously good.
Yeah.
Now, I could see if you're freaking Sony or something, you release a PlayStation and the software is poop, like, come on, you're Sony. You got to like make that a little better. But if you're starting out and no one knows about you, no one knows about your product, and you launch something, like there is no reason like that it has to be like this fully done thing. Like I didn't know that when I was starting out. When I launched my first CMS, I was like, it's got to be totally dialed in. And then this feature creep just for days. And then 2 years later, after living in a cave, you finally launch. And then it's like, oh, building something is 1/10 of what a business is.
Right.
It's like there's all this other stuff that you have to do. And it's like, I neglected all of that. I put all my marbles on this one launch because everyone's trying to be an Instagram or a Snapchat or something. It's like you launch, and then if it doesn't take off like within a year, I'm out.
Yeah. Especially when you're launching in the shadow of some of those things, or in the wake of some of those things, where you're I remember building apps like even just 5-6 years ago with other people. And it's like the thing we kept telling ourselves was like, you only launch once, like you only get this opportunity once, where you stand the chance of getting featured by Apple. You stand the chance of getting a little bit of press. Like that's only going to happen that one time. Right. So let's make it as it has to be great. It has to be
There's a lot of
perfect.
pressure.
Like there's such a weird dichotomy of like figuring out you only launch once versus let's just build it in real time. Like it's such a strange like disconnect that you have to figure out and like manage.
Yeah, I'm totally there with you. Like when I was building apps for that app store, it's the same thing. I was like, man, I only get one shot, but really you don't. Look at any app that's like always constantly featured. Like, they've been out for years.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's necessarily right, but that's totally how you do it.
That's totally how you feel. And but it's like, if you, instead of like, hey, if this thing doesn't take off really quick, then I'm out and we'll do something else. If you instead be like, I'm going to give this thing like 5 years, and then like, let's shoot for getting featured in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you think of it that way, then it's like totally different, because in 5 years, you'll be able to build like all the inner workings of an actual business behind your product.
I think, what I think is cool, interesting there, if you even unpack that a little more, I think if you're striving for it to be right, perfect the first time, you're making a bet on the product. If you're expecting it to be right eventually, like over a period of time, you're making a bet on you. Yeah. I think that's a big distinction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Or the business as a whole.
Yeah, your ability to drive that. Like,
yeah. Because your product can take multiple forms.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
we were just talking about some product that did multiple things. I can't remember, but over time, it could change.
Right.
And like you said, you're like, hopefully it'll become the best thing in the world. And it will change over time. So therefore the product is going to change. And it's, I don't know, it's just always super tricky. And I feel like I was always in the trap. I must atone for my sins here, I guess, or something, whatever the term is. Was always in the trap of being like what is now called a maker, where like I just build stuff and launch it. And then it's like hope for the best.
Yep.
But that's all that is just the freaking interface in the code. Like that has nothing to do with the actual business.
Right.
Like
Customer
almost
support.
nothing to do
Yeah.
with the business. So if you have ever like decided you're going to build something, do it, but don't think that that's it. I mean, there are so many people that get lucky. Well, not so many. There's a few people that get lucky, and you can count them on your hands.
Yeah.
But that's about it, man. Everybody else is like in the trenches. Remember the MailChimp article like years ago? They're like, MailChimp overnight success, doing all this great stuff. And the guy who founded MailChimp wrote a response to it. He wrote a blog. He's like, hey, I've been at this for over 10 years and now I'm suddenly an overnight success.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got to put in the time, man, if you want to make business.
Yeah. It's work.
Yeah. So
Outside of that.
outside of that, what are you doing here? You were from New York. No, you were from Arizona.
Yeah.
You were in New York, and now you're here.
Now I'm
What's
here.
going on?
Yeah. So when I graduated from U of A in 2010, I graduated actually with like a pre-med degree and took my MCATs. Did all
No
that sort of-
way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I had studied really hard, went to all like the Princeton review classes and all this stuff, and I was scoring really well on these practice exams. When I took the actual MCAT, I didn't bomb, but it was not a good score. Like it was not what I was expecting at all. Cause I was like, I'm going to Johns Hopkins or like some Ivy League school. Like this is gonna be great based upon those scores. And I don't know, it made me really look at that industry and like what I was actually on the precipice of really getting myself into. And I kind of walked away from it like, I don't think this is right for me. Like I've spent all this time and all this effort getting here. And really it's just a bunch of like science and math classes. Like it's not anything really big. But I was like, maybe this isn't what I want to do. So I moved out here because it's still close to the family, but far enough away that I could like be on my own and be independent. This was like 22, 23. And I had always done like Photoshop stuff, like backgrounds for my friends and just stupid stuff. And I was actually trolling Craigslist, found a job ad for a designer, went and interviewed. Long story short, I got the job. And then this guy like taught me, a lot of different stuff and like basic HTML and CSS. And it kind of just grew from there. So I'm not like this guru that I know a bunch of stuff, but I know enough to be able to like implement or do a lot of my designs, put them live sort of thing. So, so I did that, got really bored with San Diego, got really bored with NCS. And I was like, I need to move to the big city, like, get near these big tech companies, make some money, whatever. Moved out there and it was great. And, Lawline was amazing. They gave me a great opportunity to learn even more and expand my skills. And then I realized when I was out there, I was like, New York kind of sucks. Like it's
Wait a second. How long were you there?
I was there for 3 years.
Okay.
So,
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Yeah.
It's dirty. The buildings sway.
Yeah. It's cold. Like, Arizona boy, man, like we used to have to drive to the snow and it was basically just ice. And, the first snowfall in New York was incredible. Like I was sitting there just, this is beautiful. And then no one tells you about like the really gross part afterwards.
Yeah,
which is, like,
the next morning.
Yeah, it's terrible. And like there's just these black pits that you're like stepping in and you don't know what's at the bottom of them. And I moved back out here. We my girlfriend and I did a 6-month trip literally around the world. We circumnavigated and then kind of ended up back here. And so it's been a trip, I guess, when you say it out like that, but it's been a lot of fun. So
Sweet.
yeah.
And so you said you got bored of Encinitas, and are you still bored of it? Or was it like something like you realize the city's not for you and you like this, or are you just back here because this is what you know?
So I think after 8 months, I'm not in, so I live in Oceanside now and I'm not in love with it. And I really like the lifestyle change here versus New York. So I can drive my car. We can go hiking on the weekends. Like it's not a process to do all this stuff. Like there's not people walking all over each other, but I do miss the vibrancy a little bit, like being able to go and walk outside and like see new restaurants and people and not have to worry about driving a car all the time.
Right.
And, there's Uber and Lyft and stuff, but like, it's kind of nice to just hop on the train and not worry about anything. And it's bad too, but, I don't know. I feel like there's that middle ground that I haven't found yet between.
So what you're saying is you will never be satisfied.
I mean, like
I want
I'm
a
worried.
big city, but some days I want to wake up and not be a big city.
Man, no, it's really what it is. And like, I'm getting kind of scared because I've thought about that and I'm like, I'm just crazy. And like, this literally doesn't exist.
He's be a nomad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Dan Martell said, right? He's a 5-star nomad.
Yeah. Just go travel around.
Every 3 months, they're in a different spot.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
I mean, that is the beauty of like what we do. We can do that, which is awesome. But,
I felt a moral responsibility to all other remotely working people to go on an RV trip for a year because you can, and nobody really does.
Right.
But okay. So I had a question on the MCATs.
Yeah.
And on the nursing training. You said it's all science and math. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
What is that? What you take when you
pretty much? I mean, like you're taking. I mean, it depends on the track and how well you want to really prepare. But all that's really core required for like pre-med essentially to get into, to get the training to take the MCATs to do well is chemistry classes and biology classes and math classes. And so like,
are they like pretty advanced stuff? Or?
Yeah. I mean, like, you talk to anybody about OChem and it's like the worst, organic chemistry, and it's like the worst thing in the world.
Right.
It's really hard. And then biochemistry is even worse. And, you kind of just go up this track of these really hard science classes.
Organic chemistry and biochemistry, aren't they kind of the same?
No.
Biochem, from what I remember, this has been a few years ago, organic chemistry was a ton of memorization. Like you just had to memorize formulas and how things fit together and how they react together and a bunch of junk. And then biochem was like more the study of like organisms and how they're put together and like the way, I don't know, they're very similar, but they're so different when you're in the class. But,
so it seems like they're the same, talking about the same overarching thing, but one's going more in depth on this thing, one's going more in depth.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because organic, organic and bio, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Organic is like traditionally like the weed out class. So like it's designed to be really hard. It's designed to be overwhelming. It's designed
to filter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So what are the MCATs? You go into a room, they give you a piece of paper and you mark all the boxes?
No. So I that's what I thought too. And when I went to take it, there was a computer that was set up and you went to this like super cold room.
Yeah.
And
it's always cold.
It's freezing and like nobody tells you that. So bring a jacket if you're going to take the MCATs. It was just like a computer based thing. And my computer froze like 3 times. And that was part of it. I was like, maybe this happened for a reason. Like maybe I'm just being crazy and maybe I should just do this again. But yeah, it was the glitchy computer and a glitchy click through multiple choice system. And yeah.
And then you're done.
Yeah. And then you wait
so now I know what Gaylord Fokker did when he took the MCATs. Like when you say the MCATs,
that was the root of all your line of questioning here.
Yeah, all I think about is gosh dang it, is
Meet the Parents.
Yeah. And what he went through.
I did not think that's why you were asking all this questions. I would never have guessed.
Well, he
milk
aced the
a
MCAT.
cat?
He aced the MCATs, remember?
Oh, is that I do not remember.
Oh, okay.
But I believe you.
Yeah, you should watch it.
You're questioning the delineation between organic chemistry and biochemistry so you can figure out if Ben Stiller actually aced the fictional MCATs.
Did you watch that movie?
The Meet
the Parents? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
So did you relate in any way?
I mean, I was, yeah.
Was it like your movie?
I was Ben Stiller. I mean, I felt like they were just doing, it's a good one. I don't remember it though. The same thing. Like it's been a few years. Like, I don't know.
I think we don't watch it every Christmas, but we watch it around there.
Yeah.
We haven't watched it in 2017 yet, but we will.
It's still early.
I think we watch it like once every 3 years or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not
There's a trilogy now.
Yeah.
It's like,
is it really?
I think so.
Yeah, no, there's 3 of them. How are you guys at rewatching movies? Like, I used to buy movies. Like, if it's a Marvel movie, I'll just buy it just because. But I never actually rewatched those movies.
No.
I think my friends are like really big movie buffs, and they love to like do quotes and drop this stuff. I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I think the only movie that I've rewatched multiple times is Prometheus, the alien movie.
Yeah.
I love that. And people hate it.
No,
like
you're talking to Prometheus fans, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I finally, because everyone else is like, no, it's terrible. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
and like,
I think that's the only one that I can really rewatch.
Gosh
Otherwise,
dang, dude, it's so good. What other movie
Look what you did
has what other movie has like this alternate origin or this new concept origin on like the human race and goes that in depth? People always just like mention it in a movie, like, oh, we came from blah, 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 blah. Or there's some like they're drawing on a board, we came from blah, 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 blah. But they never actually show it.
yeah.
And so that's why I'm so amped for the new Alien movie until the first trailer came out.
You said you're not that
Yeah.
amped. I'm still
The
excited.
first trailer comes out, and what do they show? They show the stupidest thing. They show a freaking comic relief guy with a group of people. What's that guy?
Danny McBride.
Yeah. They show a comic relief guy, which means he's just going to have one-liners the whole movie, and it's going to be stupid. And
I
then
don't think that's what's going to happen.
Well, it better not.
It's Ridley Scott. He doesn't do that.
But it's Danny McBride.
But I think, but from what I was reading, like that, this movie is like a reaction to how poorly Prometheus did. I'm like, I love Prometheus. Like, I want more of that.
I
Like,
want
I don't
them
want
to just. I just want the whole movie about going to the makers and like just seeing all that stuff.
I think it will be. I think it's going to be half of that, and it's going to be half an Alien movie. Like Alien.
They've already shown those freaking.
Yeah, but that's what
xenomorphs
people
so many
want.
times.
Yeah. That's what people want. It's one of the best characters ever designed.
I know, but maybe they just have it at the end for a second.
Yeah. It's just going to be that last scene where he's hitting his head on the windshield. And the
Wait,
end.
what was that? That's all I care about is the other thing. And then the second trailer came out, and they did show some stuff about the android going to the thing, and they made it super obvious that the girl didn't make it or whatever, or he killed her or something like that, which sucks.
Did you guys see the whole pre-release thing they did for Prometheus? Like all of the microsites they did and all of. Oh my god! I
don't remember.
It's probably still up. You got to check it out. Like
Yeah,
they
it
made
is.
all these promo videos for it and like all this backstory of the Wayland company. And,
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I do
god!
remember those.
I love that, and I hope they're doing that again. But like I think that would added to the
Yeah. They
fascination.
did
of that movie.
commercials for like the robot. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
But they did that to some extent with X-Men too, with the
Oh, the Sentinels?
the Sentinels.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that it looks like a typical killer movie where everyone's in a room or house or ship and they get killed off one by one?
I mean,
And there was a movie called Life that just came out, and I didn't watch it. It looked like it'd be okay. They find alien
looked horrible.
life on Mars, and it breaks his finger, and he's screaming in bloody pain because his finger hurts. I'm like, who would scream that loud for your finger?
yeah.
As an adult human being, who would do that? Nobody. Stupid. But but then like that's just like the whole rest of the thing is like everyone's dying off one by one. Oh, I'm stuck in a locker. Like
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's what people want. It's very linear.
is
It's
it
very
always the
predictable.
same?
Like,
God.
but because people don't.
Ridley Scott, think of something new.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize how old he was too. Like he's an old
yeah.
dude, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you're making some cool movies, man. I like.
He wants to make a new trilogy. He wants this Alien. He was going to make a trilogy like the Prometheus trilogy, but he wants to like add a trilogy onto that. Like he wants to make 6 more Alien movies.
Oh,
the
dang.
dude's like, yeah,
And every single one is going to be
You're Ridley Scott.
slowly dying one by
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
I
but
hope not.
You're Ridley Scott. Like I'm not excusing that trope, but I'm just saying like if anybody can do it, is allowed to do it, like gets a pass, like I'll give Ridley Scott a pass any day. Like
Yeah.
I agree, but I don't know. I feel like it's just so uncreative when you've done it well, he was involved with
He
all
did
the
it
Alien
once.
movies, but you've done it like 4 times. What's the count? Alien versus Predator. Every single one of those is the same movie.
Yeah.
maybe that's why I'm so excited too, because like we haven't seen Ridley Scott do Alien since Alien,
Or since
and now he's doing it
Prometheus.
again. I mean the actual Alien.
Yeah.
Well, he did in Prometheus.
Yeah, at the very end, which was the sweetest shot in the entire thing.
Yeah.
when the xenomorph comes out,
that
yeah.
was good because it was a different story and it had super new cool
So how are you
stuff.
not excited about this?
No,
Here's
I am.
Ridley Scott.
I-
You just said that's super cool, and he's doing it again.
I was so amped
I
on
just
the new
say,
Alien until I saw the
don't
first
watch the trailer.
And I saw, gosh darn,
Don't
Danny
set
McBride,
your
why is he in any
expectations.
serious movie? Keep him in the comedies, whatever. Don't ruin a nice, awesome franchise like Alien with freaking comic relief.
I guarantee you, he knows what he's doing.
Help.
I hope.
Guarantee it.
I
I hope. Let's hope Karen's right.
Yeah.
I'm right.
I'm
gonna be
rooting
right.
for you, man.
I
I really
hope
am.
that you are right. I hope I go
We're
in
gonna
that
go
movie.
see
I
it.
was like,
Let's
gosh
go.
dang, that's awesome. Like
Right
I
now.
felt when I watched Prometheus.
Yeah,
So
it'll be good
is it out?
soon.
Oh.
This month?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think this.
But do you rewatch movies?
I used to, like when I was younger, absolutely all the time.
Yeah.
But no, now there's no point. The only movies I rewatch are movies that for my daughter, like Moana. Like,
But
watch
when it's
Moana 100 times.
been long enough, like my wife was like, "Do you want to watch this one? Do you want to watch it?" I'm like, "No, I've already seen it. Saw it last year. Saw it 2 years ago." It's like, but when it's been long enough and it's interesting, I'm like, I don't actually remember much of that movie. Yeah, let's watch it. Like that's when it's like, if I don't remember,
even then, like I would do that all the time. But now it's like, oh man, I'll be like, man, I feel like I should go watch Interstellar again just because it's a great movie and I'm gonna watch it again. I never do. Like I just don't make the time for it.
Too,
it's super impossible. But that's why I just don't buy movies anymore.
Yeah.
So it would actually be more like cost efficient for me just to rent it when I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
And I'd probably pay $10 over the course of years as opposed to $19 right now.
That's why I stopped buying them too.
Yeah.
Have you ever like on iTunes, like you're like, oh man, it's not for rent yet.
I wait. Yeah, I'll wait for
weeks. Have you
weeks.
ever bought?
No. I always will
sometimes we buy. I've never bought like just for myself like that, but like sometimes we buy if we want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
It's like kids are finally in bed. We haven't seen a movie in like 4 weeks or something like that. Like, yeah.
You're not waiting.
It's like going to a movie, we always say, because
I buy the Star Wars. When those come out, I just buy them right away.
Yeah.
Just because why
you
not?
have to.
I'll have those on.
Yeah.
That's it.
I always feel like in that situation where you're like, you want to watch this movie, it's not streaming, you're going on iTunes or whatever. And I always look at that like $3.99 price and I'm like, this is way too expensive.
Yeah,
there's no way. There's no way I'm doing this. And like, I do. I don't know why. And then I think about it and I'm like, I spend like, I don't know, $10 every day for coffee.
I just bought this. Yeah,
exactly. And like, what am I like? This is going to be 2 hours of like a great movie. What am I really upset about? But every single time, I don't know why.
Sometimes movies are just freaking life altering.
Yeah.
So good that it's life altering.
Yeah. When was the last latte that changed your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never really related to that because I don't buy coffee, but I buy movies. So I'm like, I always like when I see like apps and stuff, I'm like, oh, it's like the cost of a movie or something like that.
Yeah. I'm fine dropping like $40 to go see a movie in the theater for whatever reason. Get like this big tiny popcorn, but $4, that's where I draw the line. I can't do that.
The theater experience is one of my favorite experiences on earth. Like my goal in life is to make enough money so I could buy a house that I could put my own movie theater in. Doesn't have to be massive, but it's got to have at least 3 rows of the movie seats, and like a legit screen.
You're gonna have the cool house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't necessarily like this new trend of the eating in the theater, like where they're serving you food. Like I like the idea of it, like the concept.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm sure
as soon as you catch a whiff of like the chicken parmesan from the rope,
not that. Like I don't know. I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but like some people don't know how to like keep their mouths closed when they're chewing, right?
Yeah.
So like you're sitting there like enjoying this movie, right? And this guy or woman or whatever is next to you is just like. And I just try like that's all I can
I've
hear.
Never
like,
experienced that.
Oh man, don't let me ruin you. I'm sorry I even said anything. You're gonna hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna notice
the
it.
worst. It's the worst.
Who doesn't like watching
as it gets
eat?
silent?
Yeah, exactly. Like
some people are just super mouthing. They're always just like like that, just like without food.
Yeah.
You're like, what is?
Kind of want to put some food in there.
Hear yourself?
Just dampen the sound a little bit. Like no,
he's got a Bane mask to keep his mouth quiet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I like the things because I like to get a freaking chocolate milkshake when I watch a movie.
They should keep it to liquids only.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because like you can split. Yeah, man. I went in when I went back home. There's like a new theater in Tucson that was doing this, and I walk in and they serve the food, and I look over at the lady sitting next to me, and she had like this gigantic plate of hummus and like and pita, and I was like, oh man, she's gonna be like chewing this thing the whole time, and like it's gonna be like all squishy sounds. And I like sat down and I was like, just breathe in, just relax about this. And it turned out not to be so bad, but I can imagine.
So
like,
you really don't like mouth
I don't
sounds.
like it, man. Like no,
sizzling
no.
like fajita platter.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I had to sit next to this person.
Well,
like,
dude, people have been eating popcorn and drinking sodas in movie theaters since the dawn of movie theaters.
yeah,
So it's not so different.
yeah, I get, but like, I don't know.
I guess popcorn is a drier sound.
Well, no, I mean, but like it's a consistent sound, right? So like it's going to be that crunch.
You can filter
I don't like the variation.
Yeah.
I don't like the variation.
The wet, the dry, like it's just all over the place. Like
What's all this noise now?
yeah. Is that a hot dog? Who's eating a hot dog here?
Wait a second. Is there a pickle in that sandwich?
I don't know, man.
That's funny. There's a movie theater right here in Carlsbad that does that. But the great thing about it is like there's like 2 people to a section, so there's like so much space.
A little bit of separation.
Yeah, you got like as a 6 foot something person, you got like leg room for days before you will never hit the person's chair in front of you.
It's like me swimming in a sea of like just
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Versus a regular movie theater where your knees are touching the seat in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Cool.
Well, that's all the time we got.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for sticking with us as we're talking about movies because it's one of the best things in the world.
Yeah. We tend to do that.
Yeah. And thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for being here.
Thanks.
And we will see y'all next time.
See you guys.